I don't know if anybody out there can relate, but like I have a hard time with life sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes it's great, but a lot of times for me it's really hard. And no matter how I'm feeling, like I always find myself like struggling with certain patterns of behavior. I find myself like stuck in like in like the same thing that keeps repeating over and over again. And I'm just like, how am I in this? And it's that moment where you're in it and then you kind of separate yourself from that situation and you look at it and you see it for what it is and you're able to then do something about it. Like you've now broken out of that circle, that cycle. And
are you kind of, because the first couple of lines on the track make me think that you are like overthinking things in your life? Is it like
it could be. I mean, honestly, like there's so many circumstances that for me that relate to this situation, but like I know that for me, when I'm inside myself, when I'm in my own head, it gets this place right here, this skull between my ears. That is a bad neighborhood, and I should not be in there alone. I can't be in there by myself.
What are you talking about? You just.
It's insane.
Crazy, man.
It's crazy in here. This is a bad place for me to be by myself. And so when I'm in that, like my whole life gets thrown off. Like if I'm in there, like I don't say nice things to myself. Like there's another Chester in there that's like wants to take me down. And so, and I find that it could be whether it's substances or whether it's behavior or whether it's like depressive stuff or whatever it is. Like if I'm not like actively like getting out of myself and being with other people, like being a dad, being a husband, being a bandmate, like being a friend, helping someone out. Like if I'm out of myself, I'm great. If I'm inside all the time, I'm horrible. I'm a mess.
His voice and his words spoke to their fears and frustrations, but many of the older generation just don't get it. They don't understand why so many people are so moved by Cobain's sudden death. Como's John Sharifi continues our Team 4 coverage. He heard from people today who have differing views on Kurt Cobain.
Listen to the music. Listen to the words.
Everything is my fault.
These words and the man who sang them moved a generation.
Gus did it. He lived his own life on his own terms. He was a stubborn, driven, talented, crafty, observant, and tender young man. Gus was also vulnerable. He hurt terribly.
Today, we discuss the early death of young artists that make such an impact on the world for their short times alive. Why is it a common trend of someone who seems to have a lot in life while also making a big impact on others end up dying from either suicide or substance abuse? Chester Bennington, Kurt Cobain, Gustav here, Jimi Hendrix, Robin Williams, Vincent van Gogh. These are names of artists throughout the last few centuries even who share a common denominator. They've died young or through their own hands. All these people were known for outstanding creativity. All of them died sooner than they should have. If they did not intentionally deliver the fatal blow themselves, then they certainly did so as a result of another form of abuse. What is it that causes a case like this? Are there any common factors in what drives an artist to the level of self-loathing seen in so many famous stories? Is this truly a trend or merely a case of our remembering tragedy?
A lot of times when someone's had the chance to talk to me, I've probably been on tour or I've probably gone through an exhausted time where I've talked about myself for hours and hours, and this week I haven't had to talk about myself very much, so probably.
But it was the idea.
You were.
I was an alcoholic, a drunk.
You were a drunk. Now, do you think you've beaten it?
No, Larry. It's always there.
You've beaten it.
Yeah, I kicked it.
No,
I'm fine. No, the idea is that you always have a little bit of fear, like you have to just keep at it. You know, it's a day by day.
In 1982, as a young comedian, Williams famously partied with pal John Belushi, hours before the Blues Brothers star overdosed on heroin and cocaine.
Cocaine, what a wonderful drug. Anything that makes you paranoid and impotent, give me more of that.
Williams soon quit cold turkey and remained sober nearly 2 decades until 2003, then relapse and rehab, here in 2006 for comic relief.
It's always good for me to come to Vegas after rehab. I love that.
It's a good town for you.
Good town for me. It's like going to Colombia, you know, where are you going for detox? Colombia. Just to take it easy in a 24-hour alcohol town.
In 2008, when his second marriage ended as a result of alcoholism, he says, Williams again went to rehab, joking about it with U.S. troops.
I was violating my standards quicker than I could lower them.
Wherever he went, it seems there was always laughter. But with that came unbearable pressure. Williams suffered manic depression.
You know, no, I'm not always fun to be around, and that there is this thing of, yeah, the world sees one thing, and what am I like at home? Different, because I can't always be on.
Surrounded by millions who adored him, loved him, yet in the end, could not save him.
The trope of tortured creative genius has persisted since Plato proposed banning poetry, long enough to seem like more than a mere coincidence. From the emotionally unstable writer to the suicidal actor, to the artist who cuts off his own ear, history is riddled with examples of the myth of life. But is there any science linking creativity output to madness? A new and controversial study concludes that indeed, creative genius and mental disorders are connected at a genetic level. What does this all mean? We live in a culture where these icons don't feel like people. They feel more like an ideology, an idea, a message. I personally think that it's more than a coincidence that these artists live a short life. Sure, it's more televised when a well-known artist dies, but I believe the lifestyle and attention they get works as a double-sided blade. They're able to send out these amazing life-changing messages, but aren't able to save them from themselves. I'm not sure if anyone has a role to play in this, and if the artist is just doomed to be plagued with mental health issues, but I hope more research goes into it and people are able to get the mental health help that they need. Thank you for watching. This was a really interesting topic, and if you have any research topic suggestions, please let me know. Thanks. Bye.
True.